Hello, welcome to my quiz practice. If you would like a copy of this document and along with other practice versions of this, there'll be a link in the description. And so we'll just get started here. Number one, calculate the sum of this. You know what? I think that I'll choose something easier. When you're adding numbers, it doesn't matter what order you add them. So maybe I'll just rearrange this. This is the same as, we'll call it 5.5 plus 2. And then this I'll put at the end, minus 3.5. Now you might be thinking, hey, that was a negative and now it's a minus or subtraction. Yeah, they count as the same thing. So if we add 5.5 plus 2, hopefully that's pretty obvious that this is going to be 7.5. But if it's not obvious, let me show you. 5.5 plus 2. Now 2, you have to line up your decimals when you add. So you can't put the 2 right here because that's behind the decimal right there. 2 is the same thing as 2.0, you see. So what I'll do is I'll just kind of, whoopsie. Okay, hold on. Oh my goodness. Hold on, I just want to erase that part. So 2 is the same thing as, I could write 2.0 like that, and I add them up, and that would be 5, and this is 7, and there you go. So there's your 7.5. And I'm going to erase this here. And then we have a 7.5 minus 3.5. Okay, that should be, that's 4, but so you have 7.5 minus 3.5, and when you subtract, 5 minus 5 is 0, 7 minus 3 is 4, so you can have 4.0, or you can just have 4 as your answer. Okay, let me erase this stuff to have a clean slate, and let's go on to the next thing. Change 0.70 to a simplified fraction. Okay, well, you have 0.70. That's the same as 70 over 100 because this 0 is in the hundredths place. Remember, that's the tenths, THS, and this is hundredths. So if I had 0.4, something like this is 4 tenths, 4 over 10. But now that I have 70, that would be 70 over 100. Let me erase this little part here, and we will continue. So the other part is, well, I should be able to simplify this. I can divide them by the same number. I can divide them both by 10. And 70 divided by 10 is 7, and 100 divided by 10 is 10, and that would be our answer. And you might be wondering, well, couldn't I just have it like this? Well, it says here simplified fraction, so this would be the simplified fraction. Next one, change the fraction 8 over 25 to a decimal. Okay, well, there's two ways of doing this. I'm going to do it over here. 8 over 25. 8 over 25. Now, cowboys and horses, right? The cowboy is the 8, rides on top, and the cowboy sleeps inside, the horse sleeps outside. Cowboys and horses. 25 will, so if you do it the wrong way, if you have 8 going into 25, you'll get the wrong answer. So 25 goes into 8, it doesn't. 8 is too small. So I now add a decimal, and I add a 0. Now I'm thinking, how many times does 25 go into 80? Well, 25 will go into 83 times, because 3 times 25 is 75. And I subtract, and that's going to be 5. And I need to extend this. I need to add another 0. That comes down. 25 goes into 50 2 times, right? So 0.32. That's the answer, 0.32. Or 32 hundredths. Here's another way to do it. We want to know how many times, if the bottom, if that denominator will go into 100, then we could do this another way. So if you have, how many times will 25 go into 100? It'll go 4 times. So you multiply the numerator times 4, and that's 32. And that's 32 hundredths, which as a decimal is 0.32 because 2 is in the hundredths place. See, we got the same answer. 2 different ways. But that only works if the denominator will go into 100 an exact amount of times. Okay. Did that one. Okay, how about this one here? I'm going to do number 4, and I'm going to do this. Boom. Bring it over here. And so I think that first what I'm going to do is I'm going to do the brackets. The brackets are the same as the parentheses. So this is -6 minus -31. Remember, that's the same thing. Subtraction is the same thing as adding the opposite of the second number. So really we're looking at -6 plus 31. -6 plus 31, that's the same as, so -6 plus 31 is the same thing as 31 minus 6, right? We can switch these. This can go over here, and this can go over here. 31 minus 6, that's 25. I guess I'll keep it in brackets, and then times 5. See, we know it's multiplication because there's no operation, there's no addition or subtraction or anything in between there. So we know it's 25 times 5, and 25 times 5 is 125. All right, so there's that one. And number 5, 0.2 written as a fraction. So 0.2 with a bar over it. That means it's 0.222 dot dot dot. Well, let me show you something. First off, I'll just tell you the answer. It's 2/9. 2/9. And take a look at this. If you have 0.2 without the bar, that's 2/10. But 0.2 with the bar is 2/9. And you might be wondering why. Well, if we were to divide this, remember the denominator goes outside, the numerator goes inside. If I do this, 10 won't go into 2, but I add a decimal and a 0, and 10 will go into 22 times. Okay, so it brings me back to that. This one here, 9 going into 2, 9 won't go into 2, it's too small. Add a decimal and a 0, 9 goes into 22 times. 2 times 9 is 18. I subtract and I get 2. Oh, I need to keep going because I didn't get a 0 for a remainder. 9 goes into 20, 2 times again. 18. Okay, I've seen this before. It looks like I'm going to keep on going. This is going to be a loop. And this loop of 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2 brings me back to 0.2 repeating. So really at this point we need to just remember that right there. And by the way, if you have 0.17 like this, that would be 17 over 99. And 0.245, that would be 245 over 999. So, oh, with a bar, right? And so that kind of lets you know that however many numbers are repeating, that's how many nines you got. Okay, next. Oh, let me clean this up a little bit because this is an absolute mess. Okay, so we have to compare 6 and 8/25 to 6 and 3/4. Well, the 6's are the same. Okay, so let's compare 8/25. Ooh, let's erase more here. So I'm going to compare 8 over 25 to 3/4. Now there's one way to do it. You can cross multiply going up. 4 times 8 is 32, and 25 times 3 is 75. And you compare which number's bigger, 75 or 32. 75 is bigger, so that means that this fraction's bigger, which means this whole mixed number is bigger, which means this is the correct answer because remember that alligator eats the bigger number, and this is the bigger number, so it's open to the bigger number. Okay, number 7. I'm going to erase stuff here. It's going to drive me crazy if it's all still there. So this problem here, 2.1 minus 1.573. I'm going to do it right over here. 2.1 minus 1.573. There you go. You have you got to line up your decimals. I'll put in some zeros here, and let's start in. This is going to be 10. We got to borrow, right? So this is going to be 9, and this is going to be 10, and this is going to be 1. 10 minus 3 is 7. 9 minus 7 is 2. 10 minus 5 is 5. And 1 minus 1 is 0. So it should be 0.527. So that's equal to 0.527. All right, so heading into our last problem, we have subtract. Express your answer in simplest form. Well, what we need are the denominators to be the same. Okay, and then the denominators are the same in our final answer. So this is going to be out of 12. Okay, that part's good. But we need to now know what negative 8 minus 1 is. So remember, negative 8 minus 1. That's the same thing as negative 8 plus a negative 1. And that would mean that we start at negative 8, and then we have to add negative 1, which means we go that way 1, which means we arrive at negative 9. And that is our numerator, negative 9. But it says now simplest form. So if we have negative 9/12, let me erase this here, and negative 9/12, we need to now divide these by a certain number. What number will divide 9 and also will divide 12? Well, that's 3. Negative 9 divided by 3 is negative 3, and 12 divided by 3 is 4, so negative 3/4 would be our answer. And that's what you got to know for our upcoming quiz. Again, if you need more practice, link in the description, and you can do it up. Multiple versions of this practice quiz, and the answers are provided as well. Thanks for watching.